So we got asked a bunch of questions on social media, and I'm trying to get to them. So here's another group of questions here to get to. This is from Umar Khan. What was the hardest project for you to build / customize? We've done a ton. Umar, we've done a lot. Counts Customs been around pushing 20 years now. And during that period of time, we've done a ton. And so off the top of my head, for me to pick what's the hardest one to build or customize, I don't know necessarily, but I got one that just came out in my thought process here that I'll share with you. That was a really tough one. We built it was a motorcycle project, actually. We built a full custom chopper for Ozzy Osbourne, believe it or not. And this was some years back. And it was a really challenging build because we really wanted it to reflect what would be Ozzy's flavor without it being like a theme bike. I'm not really too big on theme type of vehicles, but in this bike we had to do a full custom gas tank that was done in the shape of Ozzy's cross logo. Ozzy loves crosses, so there's crosses all over this bike. We did a custom air cleaner that has a cross on it filled with rubies. The wheels were my Counts Customs crosses, all are 5-spoke crosses in the wheels. But I think one of the most cool features and one of the most challenging features on it was the back fender. We did a tribute to Randy Rhoads, which was Ozzy's guitar player back in the day. We tragically lost Randy in an accident years ago. But we did a tribute on the back fender where we actually replicated Randy Rhoads' Flying V guitar on the back fender of the motorcycle, wraps the entire back fender, and it's elevated about an inch off the fender, and it's filled with plexiglass. And that's actually the fill between the fender and the guitar, in the shape of the guitar, is the whole tail light, brake light system built inside of it. And then the guitar is really replicated. The Gibson Flying V is replicated on there. It's a really cool motorcycle, cool build. The bike, Ozzy had it for quite some time, and then it changed hands a couple of times, and then being the crazy collector that I am, I bought it back. And so it sits in my showroom. And so you can come see it anytime you're in Vegas. It's really cool. This comes from Jim Winans. Do you really think the Mustang in Bullitt could have whooped up on that Charger? Jim, I love it. That's a great question. The Mustang in Bullitt was actually a GT390. So you're looking at a car that was smaller and less weight than that Charger, handled better than that Charger, and with the big block 390 had a whole lot of horsepower. So I believe that those cars were pretty equally matched, and I think that was about as realistic as you could get. And to this date, I get asked another question, and that's what I think is one of the best car chase scenes ever filmed, and I always refer to the Bullitt scene because it was about as real as it gets. And I love that Steve McQueen, God bless him, was doing his driving. That guy was wicked. So I think it was definitely possible, yes. This comes from Derek Rickman. To be a good businessman, you have to step back and let people in. And this is one of the hardest things to do in business. How old were you when you built a team up and strive to grow the business? Derek, that is a really good question. And yes, you are correct. To be a good businessman, you got to let people in. And that's tough because when you start letting people in, things can go bad, things can go good. Sorting out the right people, that's tough. I'll tell you this, Counts Customs is 100% solely owned by myself. So I am always the boss, and that's the key. That's important. I can always make the final decision, whether it's the right one or the wrong one. That comes up to me. But surrounding yourself with the right people is important. Counts Customs was a young company. I would say we were probably 5 years old. Counts Customs was when it started getting a lot of recognition through magazines and through other television shows that were featuring a lot of our builds and a lot of our vehicles. And suddenly we started to grow, and it became, and there was only either 7 or 9 of us at the time. And it became evident to me that I was growing and that I needed help. And so I would say at about 5 years into the company is when I started looking for help and adding people. And it was really mainly like management help, department head help, things like that. And then adding more mechanics and fabricators. All started growing from there. The company is pushing 20 years old now, so it's got to be almost 15 years ago. But very good question, and yes, it takes a team and the right people. That's the key, bro. That's the key. Bruce Hudson. This comes from Bruce Hudson. If the law said by whoever you can only own one car, which one would it be? Bruce, if I had to own one car, which one would it be? I would say that it would be my father's '66 Mustang GT350, and it might not be the greatest car that I own in my collection. I got a bunch of cars. But it is so personally significant to me. He brought that car home when I was, I think, 9 years old. I think I was 9 years old when he brought that car home. And it made such a huge impression on me. And it changed my life. That car started it all for me. I still have the car. It sits in the showroom. You come to Vegas, you can visit Counts Customs and see it. But there's a lot of wonderful cars out there. And it would have to be that one, I think. Yeah. This comes from